Question 5, what is the value of x? So first thing we have to check is whether or not this is a right triangle, because we can't do trig functions. We can't use the Pythagorean theorem with this because we only know one side length. And we can only use those trig functions, cosine, sine, and tangent, if this is a right triangle. So we know that 40 plus 50 is 90, which means that this other angle up here must also be a 90-degree angle. So we can use our trig functions. Now, they've given us two angles. It's up to us which one we choose. It doesn't matter because we're going to get the same thing no matter what. It's just depending on which angle we want to use. So I'll just use 40 as the angle, so that's where we'll put theta. And labeling the triangle, across from the 90 is the hypotenuse, across from theta is the opposite, and the one next to theta is the adjacent. So the two that we have to use are the adjacent and the hypotenuse. We don't need the opposite because there's no information along that leg. So we're going to do the cosine of theta, which is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So we know that theta is 40 and the adjacent is 3, the hypotenuse is x. And just like in the previous one, when you have the x in the denominator, you just take this one and move it out front and take the cosine of 40 or whatever trig and angle you have here and move it down. So x is equal to 3 divided by the cosine of 40. And we're going to grab our calculator here. 3 divided by the cosine of 40, and we get about 3.9. Now, thinking about this, okay, x would be equal to approximately 3.9. Just think about whether or not this makes sense. We know that this is the hypotenuse. It has to be the biggest side of the triangle, and it's bigger than 3. 3 is going to have to be bigger than this one because this one is across from the smallest angle. So this should be a fairly decent answer. So 3.9 is the value of x.